I'm just going to kind of structure out the shadow a little bit more than what I had. Take the side of the face. Light's coming this way. Always think in terms of like where your light's coming from on these things. That's probably gonna be a little harsh for me. So I'll cut that back down. Remember what I was saying. So let's go ahead and say the light that's getting her is a little bit warm. So I'm gonna actually take the flesh color here, grab it. See the color hues here? Slide it more towards the warm, so it's getting a little bit of a orangey yellow. And you'll have to bear in mind, I'm sure this projection monitor is not the most color calibrated thing in the entire world. I'm going to go ahead and just warm her up a little bit. So the light is kind of getting her and hopefully not making her too muddy. Okay, then go over and grab the blue. Again, if I use this blue in here, it's going to look lucky. So I'm going to take that blue, bring down the brightness, bring down the saturation. And bring it over here in the other shadow. You have to follow through. You start doing this, remember, you're lighting it. You know, again, as you're doing this stuff, really look at movies and TV. And if you want to see a kick-ass example of some lighting, it was on TV the other night. We were watching it in the hotel room. Crimson Tide. It all takes place inside the submarine. Oh my God! You'll get like guys lit from a blue light, green light, and purple light here, and it's just got some amazing cinematography in it. And another way too, here are the keys to getting better. Okay, draw all the time, draw all the time, draw all the time, paint all the time, paint all the time, paint all the time. Well, a great way to have you paint all the time is like, a lot of people now have, of course most people have DVD players of some sort in their computer or whatever. Get the DVD player, make it small on your screen, bring up your Photoshop, pause it on whatever the scene is, take 15 minutes and paint it as fast as you can. Trying to match you're not caring about making them look like the characters, you're caring about form, shape, and color. If you do that 3 hours a week, you guys will be beasts in a month. Okay? But you gotta be disciplined, you gotta do it. It's just like working out. You wanna build muscles, you gotta get in the gym, and you gotta work out. You wanna become a good artist, you gotta be painting and drawing, and it can't be just stuff in your head. You gotta really start learning, because what you need to do is you need to know the metaphors for what makes things work in the real world. Take those metaphors and then stylize them and tweak them, because that gives you, like, your cartoon. Like Bone then has a sense of reality, because when Jeff draws Bone, because Jeff can draw, and Jeff could draw a photoreal guy if he wanted to, but Jeff can also draw this little character, and he's anchored in the ground with a proper shadow. He moves with proper weight, all that kind of stuff. Very, very important. Okay, that's enough that way. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not drawing. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and grab the eyeball. Eyeballs are not pure white. Look at the people next to you. They are a little fleshy, a little red around the outsides, and they're definitely never blue. So I'm actually going to grab a little bit of flesh. Sounds like the ice cream man, isn't it? So I'm going to bring down the saturation pretty far, though. Now, the other thing to remember, and we already kind of set up a lighting scheme, right, of her being being a shadow conditioned up here like that, right? It's dramatic. Light coming from below her and off to the side. The eyeball sits inside the eyelids, okay? So the eyelids are going to cast shadows on the eyeball, okay? So to make the eyeball feel like it's sitting in there, you need to decide, okay, if there's normal conditions and light's coming from up here, right? This is still going to be a darker part of the eyeball because it's a ball. But the hard shadow is going to come from down here because the light's going to hit that lower lid. Okay? So let's go ahead and bring this down. Bring this up here. Don't worry, that seems a little dark. I'm going to go ahead and add some. You can have really nice highlights without having dark in there. And again, remember we're dealing with shadows. Now it's the lacrimal here, so the lacrimal is going to have the real flesh color. So let's go ahead. Yeah, the A is definitely more red. Let's go ahead and bring up that a little bit there. Bring a little bit more that way. Now I'm just freehand airbrushing this right now. I mean, I have the selection on the one side. I'm trying not to go into here, right? I'm just kind of hitting this little part. Okay. Now, the eyeball is a good example of a shiny, wet, hard object. Well, not too hard to poke somebody in the eye, but you know, it's essentially, you know, a not so hard cue ball, shiny. So this is the only case that you're going to be doing this, maybe some teeth, maybe. So think about. The other thing to think about when you're coloring is surface texture. Okay, you would never render highlights on flesh the way you would render highlights on an eyeball. Okay, or if something's wet, or if something's metallic. Really think of those things. Render them all differently when you go at it. You know. So let's go ahead and not do that stupid camera thing. I'm just going to go ahead and use the pencil tool. Decent size. I will show you, this is how you make a really cool inking brush. Let's go ahead and go to shape. I'm just going to grab any one of the round brushes. Okay. I'm going to take the spacing down. This is how to make the smoothest possible croquel-like or brush-like real brush in Photoshop for inking, okay? So I did the brush tape, any of the rounds is fine. The important thing was the spacing, bringing it down to 1%, okay? And then shape dynamics, we want pen pressure on, and we want, see this minimum roundness? Pen pressure on roundness, see what happened? Let me turn that off again so you can see. Watch the pen shape. See how now I have that taper, that extra taper? Okay? So you want to make sure that's on, very important. And then smoothing if you want. I'm not sure if it's making a difference or not these days. But anyway, with that kind of a brush, you know, I can really go thin, thick. Even if it's a bigger brush. Okay? I'm using a really fat tablet right now. But anyway, so let's go ahead and go to the highlights here. So a great way to do highlight, and now let's say you're not, okay, let's go back. Let's say you're not exactly, okay, I'm going to do an eyeball, right? And I already did kind of the base of the eyeball, and I don't want to ruin that. I'm afraid I'm going to ruin it, okay? And you're not sure maybe where the highlight should go on the thing and stuff, so you want to see. So again, you could go ahead and make a layer. It's just a normal mode, and you can put your highlights on in that layer and see how they work. So I'm going to give her a little bit here, a little bit coming here, a little bit coming here. What I'm kind of doing is there's optical blending and like let's say I take a tool like this and I'm going to hatch. That's one way to do blending. You can either do blending that way, or you can do it with the web camera. A tap of the web camera. Okay. Or you can do it with an airbrush, or an airbrush and